comedy game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I'm Ben Slinger, and I am live at PAX.
Yes, and I'm also live here.
Trevor is also here.
Yes. So it's not like just Ben is here.
So forgive our background noise, but that's just to prove that we're here.
Yes.
And we're going to record a little episode.
Maybe 299.5, I'm not sure.
Yes, we don't know where it's going to sit in the lead up to 300. It won't be 300, I don't think, but
no.
Maybe it is. Maybe we couldn't get anything else, and this is 300, so welcome.
Yes. So we're just going to play some click pitch.
We're going to play some click pitch. If anyone we know walks past, then we'll bring them in, and they can play too. But chances are it'll just be us.
Most likely. Okay. So click pitch is a game where we have a random word generator, blah, 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 blah. You know the deal by now. If you're listening to this for the first time, welcome. You'll get it as we go along. Okay, so my first word is test.
And I'm going to use Trevor's phone because I didn't pull mine out. My first word is center. Test center.
Testing center for what? What are they testing for?
Yeah, okay. Well... Sorry, I'm trying to get prompts from our environment to see if anything will come up.
Plenary. Plenary.
The plenary test center.
No. Look, there's a Hollywood side out there. Ship.
Is it a pirate test? You're testing. It's like the Voight camp in Blade Runner, except it tests if you're a pirate, and they just make you have to say words with the syllable R in them, and if you extend that out too long,
yeah,
then they know you're a pirate. This is a world where pirates are looked down upon.
I like the idea also that the testing center does more than just testing pirates, but it also tests pirate ships.
Okay, for seaworthiness?
Seaworthiness. This is just
intimidation tactics.
Does it look like one of the Spanish galleon sort of ships, and therefore it looks too piratey?
So it's almost it's like the Sorting Hat from Hogwarts, but it's putting ships into categories.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, I'm
this ship's really more of a Ravenclaw.
This ship
vibe.
over here is more of it's a Hufflepuff sort of ship.
Yeah, it's got some soft round edges. It sort of looks a bit friendly, but it doesn't take any shit.
Yeah.
When you get up to it.
Okay, so what happens in this game? Are you the person who's administering the test?
Well, I think very much along the lines of Blade Runner. You yourself are hunting these pirates, but the question becomes, are you yourself a pirate, and you maybe don't even know it?
Yeah, I do like that. I do like that a lot. The hook should have been a dead giveaway, but...
Yeah, but it's also a dystopic future, so there's a lot of missing limbs. It's not a sure sign.
No.
You do have to kind of let people know. No, this was not a nautical based accident that I lost my hand in. It was actually technically it was a fight with a pirate, but I'm a pirate hunter. You kind of have to explain.
Yeah, and in fact, 3/4 of the game is explaining that you're...
It's just explaining. It's just a dialogue tree-based thing, and you have to come up with the right answers yourself. It's almost like a reverse pirate test. You're administering these tests while at the same time protesting too much.
Yes, that you are not
not a pirate. But I'm not a pirate. I'm just giving
Even though you fail the test every single time, you're...
It's just because you spend so much time around pirates because you're hunting them.
Yes.
Yeah.
You take on some of their mannerisms.
Yeah. So sorry, I just how in the Voight camp test in Blade Runner in the movie, it focuses on their eye, and I'm just picturing that, but it's on their eye patch eye.
And all you see is an eye patch.
You just see the eye patch.
It's just black.
Yeah,
with a little skull and crossbones. And again, that should have been the dead giveaway, but.
Of yourself, yeah.
Yourself and them.
You just look exactly like a pirate, but you're not a pirate. You have to keep telling everyone.
Yes.
It's just because you have to get into their head to be able to hunt them.
Yes, and
you've picked up some of their accent,
and yes, you've got a black beard, and yes, you may have a pet parrot called Polly. Like
exactly, but like that's irrelevant.
What else happens at this testing center? Because obviously,
well, they have to be sure.
Yeah.
So there's the initial sort of interview test, which is the Voight Camp style, interview test. But then they put you on a mock ship and make sure you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, and then also they take you through the armory where they've got lots of different weapons.
Yeah.
And there's one, modern day pistol. And if you don't pick up the modern day pistol and you instead pick up a cutlass or
like a blunderbuss
or any of the other sort of weapons, then I know you might be a pirate.
You lose points. I mean, it's evidence.
Yes.
That's taken into account. And then actually there is a jury of your
pirates.
Peers. Well, well, it could be pirate, it's a mix. And you have to testify.
A la your ace attorney.
As does your parrot in a separate room, like they separate you. Separate trials.
There's 3 trials.
There's 3 trials.
There's a trial of swordplay.
A trial of treasure huntery. And the other one.
Thieving.
Is it thieving?
Yeah, it's where you had to steal the idol.
Oh, the idol, yeah.
Okay, that was a Monkey Island reference, just in case you couldn't tell.
Yeah.
My word is display.
Display familiar. Familiar display.
Oh, what if this was a magic world that had technology, and instead of having a legit
animal familiars,
an animal familiar, you have a digital familiar? Because,
I like that.
Because it turns out that the actual familiars they don't like being told to do all this sort of stuff and having to go and find information for them, so you just instead have a digital assistant or a digital.
I wonder
familiar,
if sort of bringing in the magical kind of thing. I sort of like this idea of all the familiars have died out, but a certain number of their souls or their essence has been kept.
Yeah,
and so modern day witches or whatever.
Yep.
Have imbued that essence into technological familiars that brings them to life. So there's a limited number.
Yeah.
There are a limited number of these things. So it's actually fairly rare to have an actual familiar that has the essence of a true familiar.
Yep.
But maybe there are magicians who are creating purely technological ones and trying to compete in that way.
And just the idea of mixing magic and technology and having an interface that can literally translate between.
I do like that. It's like you have your familiar translate the ancient text, but they
and then they
OCR
use
it basically.
But
this is my familiar OCR.
Yep. And look, they've turned into a QR code. I've now got a. You look at their spell book and it's just QR codes.
It's all QR codes. No, but I like that, and that at the end of the day, your familiar hops off your shoulder. It's a very parrot-looking familiar, but with a face for a screen.
Yeah,
a screen for a face.
Screen for a face.
A screen for a face. And you it shits out a little USB cord that you plug into your computer and download all the things it's seen and all the the translations and stuff.
Yeah. It's wireless charging though. You've actually got
you've got little epaulets that are wireless charging platforms.
Yeah. And that's why they can be on your arm.
That's why they have to be on the shoulder or an arm. Yeah,
shoulder, arm.
Yeah, everyone has their own fashion style for where they sit there. They're wirelessly charged. Familiar.
Mine's a backpack.
Yeah, well, if you need a lot of processing power in your familiar, maybe you're doing some real hardcore necromancy.
Yeah,
you have to store the essence of your whole human beings.
Yeah,
you need a lot of hard drive space.
Need a lot of hard drive space. I mean, just the neurons alone.
Yeah, that's it. You got to store it all in memory so that their brain doesn't just disintegrate. Their mind.
Yeah, I mean, then that's how you actually make a familiar. If you've accidentally destroyed a human's mind, they just become something lesser.
Yeah. So what's the game then? So we've this is a good little bit of world building.
Yeah.
I assume you play... Is this one where you're like an up-and-coming Magic user and you're trying to get yourself a familiar as part of the story, perhaps? Maybe you've got a mentor?
You've got a mentor and you've got a trainee familiar. As in other words, it's not a real familiar, it's just like what...
like a training familiar.
Familiar.
That they give you,
It's just a digital AI. It's not actually... It doesn't have the actual essence of...
Yeah, it's
familiar.
like on your smartwatch.
Yeah.
But it's to teach you how to use how to do magic with a familiar.
Yeah, it's just a digital face.
Yeah.
That kind of helps you out a little bit.
It's almost the tutorial of the game.
Yeah, but it's the first half of the game.
Yeah, well, a good chunk of the game. Maybe the first, act. I guess it depends on, is the whole goal of the game, your goal is to become a more powerful Magic user with your own familiar and sort of outstrip your mentor, or is that just the beginning and then most of the game is spent as, this Magic user? Maybe like the prologue is you being trained by this mentor.
Yeah.
That ends with some sort of your mentor being killed or like some sort of big emotional thing. You inherit their familiar, or like you manage to get away. Maybe it's broken.
Yep.
Maybe you manage to get away with their familiar. The essence is still in there, but the technological parts of it are broken.
And then it's a big fetch quest across lots of different levels of having to pick up.
Like that. It's maybe a bit of a...
I mean, I kind of see this as like a 3D collectathon sort of thing with interspersed, like...
I'm picturing maybe a bit of like Psychonauts.
Oh, yeah.
Like that style. Like it's still pretty heavy on story, but yes, there are platforming and collectible elements as you kind of visit these different areas to first fix your familiar and then use it to like avenge your mentor's death, and then you find out that actually they were evil the whole time.
Yeah.
And then you have to defeat them with their own familiar.
I do really like that.
I mean, that's, it writes itself in a way, but
it really does. One thing I do like about this is that because we've combined technology and magic, that the powers that you get can be like, this time you got a grappling gun. This time you happen to get, a spell to, make rain happen or whatever it is. Like,
you've got a lot of options there, certainly for what types of effect, like what types of gameplay.
And then you've also got a tree that you can go down of what are you gonna
like a tech tree sort of.
You got a tech tree and you got a magic tree, which
well,
one
I
are you
like that actually
more...
too, like that you can choose perhaps to go more technology focused or more magic focused, and that you get different styles of mechanics, whether you end up needing to use them all anyway or whatever, but like that you can sort of choose which direction to go down.
Well, this is really cool. Let's click again. I need to get my phone up and running again because it keeps
click
on
again. That was, I like that idea though. I feel like magic and tech is missed. Okay, is this my word?
This is your word.
Sure. Election.
Sun. Ooh, we're electing a new sun.
We're electing a new sun. This is S-U-N, by the way, for those who obviously can't see the word. Electing a new sun. What happened to the old sun? Or we're just like deposing the sun?
Deposing the existing sun, because
it's like this climate change shit is all your fault,
all
sun.
your fault.
Even
it's not us.
No, it's not us. Just because we're trapping all of the heat, like you're the one giving it to us.
Yeah.
We need a cooler sun. A cool sun who you want to sit down and have a beer with.
Basically, we want if you remember seeing a picture of a sun with sunglasses, that's what we want.
We want exactly, yes. We want that classic, like, 8-year-old's drawing of a sun with sunglasses. Where's that sun? Tell me.
Exactly. Like, I'm imagining that he sends, like, I've just gendered the sun. That's not very good. He or she...
They.
They.
The sun uses they, them pronouns, I think.
Yeah. So... They send down like a emissary of themselves to
Ra. Is Ra the sun god?
Yeah, it is from Egyptian mythology, I think.
I don't know. It doesn't have to be Ra. That was the first sun based.
No, it's Ray. Ray.
Ray. Yeah,
Sun
okay.
rays,
Ray, the sun's emissary Ray. That makes sense.
Yeah, because that makes more sense.
Yeah.
So sun's Ray.
Have we been mispronouncing Ra this whole time, actually?
Maybe.
Like, maybe that's actually the Egyptian god Ray.
It's just some dude. And
it's just
like,
Raymond. Ray for short. Raymond. Yeah. Okay, yes. Ray comes down representing the sun in this election.
Yeah.
The current sun.
The current sun, yeah.
The uptight, hot-headed sun.
And it turns out that really what we're electing is a new emissary.
Is a new emissary.
It turns out that Ray was just a dude many years ago. And the reason why the sun is not so cool anymore is because they elected this dude Ray on a...
Oh, okay.
On a joke.
And Ray affected...
Ray became the personification of the sun, and he's just a douche.
And it's just all gone to his head.
Yeah.
In this time. So has he just been wandering around the Earth?
No.
He's been up with the sun hanging out.
He's been up with the sun hanging out as
whispering
like
all these ideas into the
yeah.
sun's head. Right. He's sort of like the vizier by his side.
He sees himself as a god.
And
that's just really not good.
It's just Ray.
But then again, Ray, when you get asked if you were a god or not, you say yes.
Yeah. I mean, he saw that movie and thought it was talking directly to him. So.
Exactly. So I did not plan that. That just came to my head. So thank you very much. That was actually kind of cool. Let's see what happens next with the cool sun. I'm thinking like a character like a Sloane's Mackenzie, you know.
Oh, it's very much that personification of cool then, of someone who is the epitome.
It pans across and it's like the Fonz, Sloane's Mackenzie, and some other cool guy.
And then it's got
Cool Hand Luke. Mr. Freeze.
I did think of Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze because he has those really great one-liners.
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
Great.
Objectively great.
Objectively great, yes. Great when you're just thinking about it, not great when you're watching the movie. So you got all these really cool guys, and then the coolest guy walks in.
Yeah.
And
played by Paul Rudd.
It is literally just Paul Rudd.
It's actually Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
It's just Ray up against Paul Rudd.
Yeah. And so the gameplay is you play Paul Rudd. You actually get... Well, you don't really get to play him. You get to tell him what to do. You get to play...
Oh, you're his, like, advisor.
You're his conscience.
Oh, okay. So more sort of internal than that.
Yeah.
Okay, but he doesn't always listen.
He doesn't always listen
because you tell him to do something that's not cool enough.
You can't tell Paul Rudd.
Nobody tells Paul Rudd what to do. The world is like, Paul Rudd, you should be aging, and Paul Rudd's just like, fuck off.
And Paul Rudd is literally like, directors don't even tell me what to do. I directed Ant-Man, and I just let them have the name.
Yeah, any movie Paul Rudd's ever been in, he's actually the director. It's just nobody else knows it.
At the time, Paul Rudd didn't even know it.
It's in hindsight. In hindsight, Paul Rudd goes, "Oh, actually, I made all the decisions in that movie.
Why didn't I get paid for it? Oh, actually, that'll look too self-indulgent. So I'll give it to them."
Well,
he's very gracious.
He's a very cool guy. So you're playing the conscience of Paul Rudd up against the sun's emissary Ray.
Yes.
This is a perfectly normal game.
Yes, it is.
And is it just sort of a series of like debates and things, or are you?
I'm thinking.
Do you have to decide whether to run like attack ads?
I'm thinking it's very much like an Ace Attorney game, because I kind of mentioned that in passing. The idea of being able to actually find little things that Ray has said and sort of ping them ping them for Paul to focus on, and then Paul can craft an amazing sentence based off of the prompt that you give.
An amazing sentence? Okay, so we're using some sort of Paul Rudd AI sentence generator.
No, it's actually Paul Rudd himself. Paul Rudd will come in and...
So to anyone who's playing this game, Paul Rudd just shows up at your house?
It's always Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd is everywhere.
He is everything and everywhere.
Welcome
everywhere
to Bitstorm, the Paul Rudd Appreciation Podcast / Worship Podcast.
This is getting a little bit out of hand, but
well, I mean, and it obviously just ends up if you win the game, then Paul Rudd becomes the sun.
Yes, but here's the thing:
and it's just his.
It's just his
head
face.
up there. He's got the sunglasses on,
and
he's
but
just
you can't
smiling
look at it.
down.
You can't look at it.
Oh, that's the great tragedy. Because he's so handsome, but he can no longer be looked at. He
becomes literally Medusa.
Like, you turn to stone? Wouldn't it just be that it burns your eyes from... Like, I think just Paul Rudd's general, like...
blind Medusa, then. Like, you've got the powers of blinding people. So it's like... Yeah. It's a different... It's like a sibling.
I mean, it's like the
sibling
sun right now is definitely actually Medusa that just blinds you.
Yeah. Just don't look at it for too long. But
it could be nobody's looked long enough without going blind. So, like,
yeah,
you don't know that we're not telling the truth.
Exactly. In fact, go look at the sun.
Everyone, go outside. Prove that the sun is Medusa that blinds you instead of turning you into stone. I don't know why it's still Medusa when it's not even the same powers. All right, I think we should click again.
I'm having fun.
Yeah. Okay, we have the word decade.
Accidental.
Oh, an accidental decade. That's fun. Is it kind of like an MCU snap situation?
Ooh, it's something simple, like it's a calendar error where it turns out that over millennia they'd actually, missed out on all this time, and they have to make up an extra decade.
Wait, just like in the accounting of it through calendars?
Yeah, in the accounting, kind of like our podcast accountants. It's the celestial.
So basically, it's like a leap decade.
Leap decade, yeah. It's a decade that happens once every billion years or something like that.
Right. And so what are the implications of that then?
Well, I think it's kind of like the Purge, that there's no rules.
For 10 years.
For 10 years.
For 10 long years. So maybe the leaders just don't know what to do with it. They're like, but this is like, it's just this unknowable time. We can't count it.
No, because...
we just have to wait until it ends.
Because it turns out that it's symbols, like, the numbers kept on going. Like, it turns out that the numbers were supposed to go to 3,000. And they just went 299.1, 299.
Is it? Yeah, well, I was going to say, is it 2020, like the grand year of 2020 that everyone is so fond of remembering, that never seemed to end at the time? Maybe it did,
and it didn't. It went for another 10 years.
Yeah, 2020 just went for another 10 years.
So I think that we come in and it's the end of the decade.
I was going to say, I think maybe you've got a prologue again of like sort of the discovery of it and the announcement of it. And then, yes, we come in to see the aftermath. We're like 9 years in to the accidental decade. And
we're getting to the point where now, like, things are supposed to go back to normal. This was
so
only
much
supposed
has
to
changed.
This is only supposed to last a decade, but there's entire, like, wastelands and all this sort of stuff. Like,
a lot can happen.
There's Hunger Games up in this bitch.
A lot can happen in 9 years of the Purge-based, like, society.
Well, I think people would have got bored of the Purge after the first, like, month. So
I mean, like, all that was left was murderers and survivor, like people who...
Well, as what quite often happens in these things, people who were protecting themselves that became accidental murderers.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's very survival of the fittest for that time, I suppose. Yeah. I mean, it also depends, if you want to go real philosophical about it, like what you believe about what humans will actually do, in the absence of moral, certainty. Because if this is like the whole world decides that we're going to use this accidental decade as a cultural reset, and abolishes all laws, religion, institutions.
What I think is some stupid man at the start tried to say, because of this lost decade, it's no longer YOLO, it's YOLT, because you only live twice. And then he and a whole heap of other ones, all the stupid ones, kind of got killed when they were doing
essentially all the people who would have believed that the Earth was flat.
They literally tried to go to Antarctica.
They heard a catchphrase of "You only live twice" and just believed it without any shred of evidence. It's okay if we die. We will live again.
Yeah, so they all headed down at the same time from all different points on, the outer edge of the circle out to Antarctica, hoping that
they'll look off the edge into the void.
There is no way that NASA can actually stop them from getting to Antarctica if they do 50 million ships all at once.
Wait, so are you saying?
Oh, because that's what they believe. That Antarctica is literally a ice wall around.
I know a lot of the bullshit.
The entire plate.
I'm just. Is the
That's
point
right.
here,
I called
though,
it a plate.
Is the point here though that up until this accidental decade, they believed that they couldn't do this previously because NASA would stop them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So they're like, all right, NASA's gone.
Any time that they try to do it,
we're going to tip this bitch over. We're going to all go to one side of the plate.
Oh my God, they're all going to go to one side of the plate and tip it all over.
They're going to tilt it. Because there's a grand conspiracy to keep people spread out across
to not tip the plate. Oh my God, this is exactly why NASA has been doing this. Welcome to Bitstorm, a Flat Earth podcast. we're just hitting all the fun.
This podcast. I mean, we have to redefine ourselves. We're getting close to 300. We've been doing this for a long time. We need to find our new niche. Paul Rudd is the Earth, and he's flat.
He's flat. He's got sunglasses.
We're going to tip him
over. We can't look at it because of, we'll get blinded.
I mean, we can't get far enough away to look down and see.
Oh my God, Ed is so awesome, isn't it?
Okay, tilting the Earth. I like tilting the Earth. Were they right?
No.
Okay.
Turns out they were not
shut
right.
That down immediately.
No,
good. Okay, so it's more of like a little sub-story.
Yeah.
Of how all the stupid people died.
Technically, they all disappeared, so we're not sure if they didn't just fall off the edge. Like it's just an unresolved plot point from kind of like if you look at the start of the Fallout games, where you're born and then you see like an argument and then you see a birthday party.
Yeah, you sort of see these little moments.
And then all of a sudden you're 18 and
the game begins.
I can imagine that you see the prologue and then you see little points.
You see like news reports, or you see or maybe they're not. I don't know. In a world where all institutions have shut down, are there news reports anymore? Is there still technology, or is it just like whoever's left is still using what technology still works?
Literally because people could do whatever the fuck they wanted.
Yeah.
There were some people who were like, no, I'm going to keep doing podcasts and keep like I think podcasts
maybe there's
become the new.
I think there are still news stations, but there's these turf wars about who runs them.
Yeah.
So they're constantly shifting hands. You never know, like how accurate or what agenda the people running it are going to have.
So when this game starts, we've got a prologue, blah, 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 blah. When it actually starts, like Act 1, it's a month to go. A month to go, all right. And it's played over this month and the first month of the new world order.
Of 2021.
Yes.
Yeah, and so they're trying to figure out, like, oh shit, well, this has gone so far off the rails.
Yeah.
How do we bring it back to some level of structure?
Well, I think different groups have taken, like, I'm sort of seeing different groups have actually taken it upon themselves to say, no, we're the rulers of the world, and we will be, the rulers going forward. Well,
I think there was almost some worldwide agreements at the start of the decade between all the different countries of, like, at the end of the decade, like, here's what's going to happen, here's how the transfer of power is going to come back to those who had it before, because they were the ones who wanted to set it up. But of course,
they're all gone now.
They're gone. Nobody actually wants to go back to the way it was before. But there are these, like, legal and political things that are coming back now of the people who say, no, we should honour those agreements, and others who are saying, no, like, they're not valid anymore, the world has changed too much.
I've just noticed, as you're talking and it's feeling kind of poignant and things are moving up, there's music in the background.
Yeah, we've got like a quartet or something. Oh, it literally is a live quartet down there. Oh, and see? And they finish, and that's the end of our game. So
I mean, that was sort of like, it was uplifting, and it's like...
The new world.
The new world. I think we can call our episode from PAX there, just for the moment.
I think that's a good point to end it. And look, they're playing us out.
Yep, we're being played off the stage.
So, thank you for joining us for this special PAX episode that will fall somewhere around our 300th. We had a lot of fun here.
Yeah, this is Saturday.
At PAX, we're going to do a few more recordings this weekend, including number 300. At some point. So,
because the podcast accountants, basically, we're still talking with Andrew, the one that we got tied up in the basement.
Is that his name? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't, but
that's fine. We got another one. They actually shapeshift, so you know
they're really unnatural. You can't actually look at them.
No, you have to look at them like the corner of your eye.
Yeah.
Out of your peripheral vision. Anyway, if you want to find the rest of our episodes, go to podchaser.com/bitstorm and check them out. Leave us a review. Tell us what you thought of our games.
Yeah.
In quotation marks.
Our games in question marks. Yeah, and if you like the song that we've been playing during this episode,
then check out. I don't know what they're called.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Oh, look, we've been applauded because what we've been saying is amazing. So if you like the song that we play at the start and end of each episode, that song is Mount-Defying Stuff, the Containment Failure.
By the band Kurudust.
I don't know, I'm riffing.
That's right, so thank you again for joining us this week on Bitstorm. I'm Ben Slinger.
I'm Trevor Scott, and all hail
Polar Rod.